Okay. Oh, yeah, I see now. Thank you. Okay. Bye. I got Louise.
Okay, I need to make an adjustment in this.
Yeah.
She was making this in on this.
Man, okay, if I'm here after go up, it'll be late.
Sunday or do you have Sunday or yeah, Sunday on
Good morning.
You were very comfortable.
Last night.
Yeah,
Well, this is
I
fresh.
just greasy.
This is fresh.
I'm funny.
Okay. We're still talking about things, stop over there, you have to eat for it.
I know.
It's gonna like spoil. Huh?
Hey, Purple,
Well,
Andrea,
we're not.
trust me, yeah. Morning, morning.
I don't think so, I didn't have anything in my packet.
No, that's just the revised agenda. I don't have the attachments. Documentation for it.
She's on vacation and she came to the meeting.
Oh,
Get out, she's on vacation.
oh, no, she's at her house.
Oh,
Louise.
now we be vacation, I'm sorry, I love all shit, but.
Hello.
I won't come from the meeting.
I need my vacation around,
Yeah.
I make sure it's on top of me. Good morning, Louise.
Louise.
Hi, guys. Hello.
Good.
I was up at 4:30 this morning, driving my daughter to the airport at 5 o'clock.
Wow.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's fine.
So it's been a long day already.
Well, Leanne, are you ready? It's 10:02. I am ready, as soon as you are. Then I would like to call this meeting to order. And establish a quorum. Roll call, please.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phyllis Martinez.
Here.
Madam Vice Chair, Luis Martinez.
Present via Zoom.
Secretary, Mark Dominguez.
I think he tried to get on Zoom and you and him couldn't make a connection.
No, I spoke with him this morning and he finally decided it was easier to not appear.
Okay.
Trustee Andrea Sandy. Present. Trustee Richard Beagle.
Present.
Trustee Rolando Medrano.
Here.
Trustee Rosalie Ortega.
Here. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance, Ms. Crystal, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Next item is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move, Madam Chair.
I'll second that.
And a second,
I'll second that.
and roll call.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phyllis Martinez.
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, Luis Portillos.
Yes.
Secretary, Mark Dominguez. Trustee Andrea Savvy. Yes. Trustee Richard Beagle.
Yes.
Trustee Rolando Medrano.
Yes.
Trustee Rosalie Ortega.
Yes. Next item is approval of the minutes and, Board of Trustees special meeting, March 17th. Correction, I'm not sure, was it on page 3 where it's highlighted?
Yes.
And why she forgot to talk about that, or?
No, I
I can speak to that.
Okay,
Okay, I can speak to that. And so the previous minutes, what it said was elimination from default.
Okay,
removal from the
yes,
property,
I recall that now,
which was just an error that
yes,
we didn't catch
Yes.
before.
but they
And so-
certainly caught it.
They caught it. HED caught it, and
HED
so,
caught it.
anyway, definitely HED caught it, and we went back and looked at the video. And I did not say that we had been removed, it was just, but our minutes did say that,
Yes,
so we're just correcting our minutes, so thank you. And I didn't catch it when we were approving the minutes as well, so it is, I didn't catch it.
So can we have a motion to approve March 17th minutes?
Madam Chair, make the motion to approve the minutes from March, is that the 17th?
Yes,
March 17th, 2026, with that correction.
thank you, and a second. And, I'm wondering what I'm gonna have to say it was.
You'll be good.
And, roll call, please.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phyllis Martinez.
Yes,
Madam Vice Chair, Luis Portillos.
Yes.
Secretary Mark Dominguez. Trustee Andrea Savvy. Yes. Trustee Richard Hill.
Yes.
Trustee Rolando Medrano.
Yes.
Trustee Rosalie Ortega.
Yes.
and then the minutes for the special session, April 28th, I think there was note on page 10 that hadn't been included previously, I guess, and trustee Dominguez asked that it be included when we approved the minutes for that date, and that was the notice that he read, am I correct?
Yes.
All right, so everything is good on that one now. So do I have a motion to approve April 28th?
Make a motion for that addition.
And a second. And roll call.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phyllis Martinez.
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, Luis Portillos.
Yes.
Secretary Mark Dominguez. Trustee Andrea Savvy. Yes. Trustee Richard Hill.
Yes.
Trustee Rolando Medrano.
Yes.
Trustee Rosalie Ortega.
Yes.
Okay, in the minutes for May 12th, there was nothing that needed to be corrected. Was everybody able to go through it? Were there any concerns about those minutes? If not, then I would ask, pardon me? Yes, they are. 1, 2, not as long as your reports, by the way. What was the last one? 12 pages?
Sure, sorry about that.
No problem. We would rather be thorough, thank you, than having to ask questions.
Well, you still ask questions, but
I do, yeah, but it's clarification mostly.
Yeah.
So if I could have a motion to approve May 12th.
So.
Thank you, and roll call.
Who was second?
Rosalie.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phyllis Martinez.
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, Luis Portillos.
Yes.
Secretary Mark Dominguez. Trustee Andrea Savvy.
Yes.
Trustee Richard Hill.
Yes.
Trustee Rolando Medrano.
Yes.
Trustee Rosalie Ortega.
Yes.
Anyone on public comment?
No, Madam Chair.
All right. Then, for the record, I would also like to thank whoever donated these shirts. Who is it?
No.
We bought them.
Mark purchase.
They're beautiful.
Wonder, show it for them. I mean, demonstrate.
Well, I could put it on, but it'll mess up my hair.
They're nice.
No, we don't want you to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Cause I get mad. No, just kidding. Next item, new personnel and employee student recognition, Dr. Linder.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Martinez. You can find the new personnel and employee and student recognition on page 23 of your packet. And for the month of May, we didn't have any newly hired employees, although I think there's 3 or 4 that are getting onboarded now here in over the past week. We did have some recent separations and that are listed there. And then key vacancies to be filled. We have conducted interviews for the head baseball coach. We're getting ready to conduct interviews for the office manager too, and the recruitment and admissions manager. And then we are still interviewing for the VP of Finance and Administration. And we also have an offer out for the CDL instructor examiner, but I think we're still in the process for that, so that's not finalized as yet. So, and then if you look at.
I have one more
Yeah,
question.
sorry.
So these vacancies that we're going to try to fill, don't come under the, request by HED to trim the budget.
Thank you, for the HED in our meeting yesterday, they're not asking us to trim the budget, they're asking us to provide a plan for how we're gonna meet the needs of our college.
Okay,
They're not specific, they don't tell us what to do.
I thought they had concern about.
They have a concern about how we're dealing with deficits. Yes, so we are trying to cut the budget there, yes, so, but they are not, so they do have concerns that we're putting on a.
But not in terms of personnel.
Not in terms of personnel, they're not telling us you should not hire the personnel that you have necessarily, but we are looking to see. But these positions right here that we have, we feel that these positions need to be filled. Trustee Vio?
Yes, you mentioned the CDL instructor and examiner. So is that, just so you know, because I'm in that line of work, you can't have the instructor and examiner in the same place. So is it gonna be an instructor, then the examiner? But they can't, the one that teaches can test.
So thank you, trustee V Hill, that's a really good point. That is why what we're doing is gonna have 2 instructors that are both certified as examiners. And so for that way that the instructor that's teaching, let's say, trustee Ortega decides she wants to get her CDL and she does it with one instructor, then she could be examined by the other instructor. But thank you for.
She could be or she will be.
She will be,
Okay.
she will be, when she passes. Right?
I did pass it one time with a 99 average.
Wow.
All but hazmat.
Uh-huh.
Not
I
hazmat.
took them all the same day.
Congratulations.
I said I would because I had to have commitment from an employer.
Well, we have an employer here, that if you would like to extend an opportunity, thank you. Do we have the honor of having anyone on our Zoom besides, trustee Portillo?
My understanding is that we do have other people and they're watching on YouTube.
Okay. Thank you, then you can continue with staff and student recognition.
Okay, thank you. So continuing on this, you can just follow through. Again, what we have done is that we pull out stuff that comes from the different reports. And put in, put it in this section, and I appreciate trustee Portillo's really pushing us to make sure that we're always recognizing our staff and our students. And so we wanted, definitely, there's been a lot of work that has been done over the last several weeks since we got done with commencement. They did not take any break at all in student services. And they've been working really hard on both summer enrollment, but also fall enrollment. And so shout out to everybody that's been helping with all of that, and Dr. Romero will give a full report where we stand on that. But it's been a really, a lot of effort, and we appreciate all their work that they've been doing. Crystal got, and we'll talk about this later, Crystal got a $50,000 grant from the Las Vegas Community Foundation to support Luna Strong, so great job, Crystal. That's really great. The Assessment Academy.
That's brown, by the way.
Where is it misspelled?
Assessment.
Oh, yeah, there's missing S. Sorry, I was back on this Luna Strong. So yes, assessment does have 4 S's, just so that you know. Anyway, so just shout outs to everybody that's been working on that. A lot of work during in-service week, but that's also continuing. in terms of writing up and planning for next year and doing that. Shout out to, the Shannon Cole Martinez from Early Childhood Program, recent graduate that got, received the Educator of the Year Award for the New Mexico Department of Corrections. And so I think that's a really great thing. One of the things that we want to be doing is recognizing what our graduates are doing. So I appreciate that we got that information in there. And, also, from IT, Shannon and Kara have done a lot of work. We have a lot of stuff happening, right, Jeff, on the cybersecurity, a lot of work on that. And also shout out, it's not in here because I didn't do shout outs because I ran out of time, but shout out to Jeff for all the work that we are doing in terms of getting on the preparing for the capital summer outlay, which I have put in my reports. They just didn't get moved over to this report. And so also the people that were honored at the Angelica Woodso and Jacqueline Romero that were honored as graduating alumni for the LCC Foundation banquet. And I didn't make a complete mention of this, but Director Castillo, Dr. Castillo is recognizing Betsy Sanchez, who retired on May 13th for her many years of service. And so she definitely will be missed. We appreciate all the work of Betsy, and the students definitely appreciated all that work. So there's been a lot of work in the WRTC. They do have students on campus right now. I'll mention as part of my report, but WRTC has some report outs. And then we also appreciate Denise Fox, who sends out announcements, and we get shout outs put into that. And so I won't go through all of those, but I did share some photos of from the art exhibit from our students. And those have also been on social media, so we appreciate that. And then everybody that helped with commencement. So there's a long list of all the people that helped with commencement. And you do have your Luna Life commencement issue that I hope you will take the time to read the student stories. And if you don't have a hard copy, it is available online and on social media. So that's really, really nice. So a lot of work went into that, and there's some great photos, and you can also catch all the photos on Flickr. And see, Crystal, you got about 10 shout outs. So we appreciate all your work. So, and then also shout out to the Browns and custodial and security and all the everybody that also helped with commencement when we're looking at that. And then finally, a huge shout out to everybody that's been working on the Student Information Services Workday team. Spent a lot of work on that, and Michael's been leading that. And then Michael Montoya and Michael Garcia, and then Jeff Gamlin for helping for the voting on June 2nd up at Springer. So and Sherry that also ended up helping at the very end and just making sure that we closed out right, Michael. So that was a good day. Michael told me yesterday that he did not cast a vote in Colfax County, but he was there to provide support. And so we appreciate that opportunity to work with Springer to make sure that we had a good election there. Any questions?
Anthony was also a part of that.
Who?
Anthony, our custodian.
Oh, Anthony, thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony, for helping with that. That was a lot of work to get all that done, and so we appreciate that. So Anthony is in the audience today, and so Anthony, we appreciate that.
Very welcome. So I have a couple of questions on the report. On page 24, it says banquet for student recognition and myself received an alumni award. Who is myself?
Valerie Montoya,
Okay,
Dr. Montoya.
doctor?
Yeah, she is going in, is she now, did she finish her DNP?
No, she is entering the DM.
And entering the DNP.
And then on Karen Cockerham, isn't she a contractor?
So we hired her, we have her on contract helping out in human resources while Amber's out at FMLA.
So the only one left to come back is Anna. And there was two people out for a while. Signs on the door said, when I went to pick some papers.
So Kaylee works half time. And so she's there in the mornings. And then, Christy might have been out that day as well, but Amber's the only one that is out. Karen was here for a week and getting trained, but Karen works remotely.
Yes. So, one more question and then, Vice Chair Portillo. So as soon as Amberly comes back, Karen Cockerham will no longer be employed?
So we have her on contract
Because
for
I know one of the things we have to do is cut costs in our budget.
So, thank you. That is something that we're looking at really, really closely. I will say that there has been a lot of cleanup that's needed to get done in HR. I think we have her on contract through September. And, she is helping tremendously on a lot of cleanup that we have. And so, but I think that her contract goes through September, and I think Amber's coming back in July. So we have a little bit of overlap there.
Thank you. Vice Chair Portillo?
Thank you. I want to give a couple of shout outs. Thank you, Dr. Linda, for recognizing those that assisted in the voting exercise that day, because I know there were some concerns and apparently it went smoothly because I didn't receive any calls. So shout out to Michael, Montoya, Sherry, Dr. Romero, you, everybody that assisted in doing that, and that made it a smooth day for everyone, and it got done. So I just want to say thank you for that. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to Leslie Ann. I know you've been really super busy trying to get the board in order, trying to get our flights organized, everything else. Received several texts, and I'm sure everybody else did, but I just want to say thank you for all your hard work and dedication as usual. And a shout out to you, Dr. Linder, for all the hard work, dedication, and everything else that you've done for us and your attention to the board. So just want to say thank you to you also.
Thank you.
And I had another question. Marquisa Lucero, she a new employee? I've never heard her name or met her or anything.
She is in Marquisa is a student specialist in nursing, who is a fairly recent hire.
So she's an employee.
She is an employee, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions that have to do with the recognition? If not, then we go to the next item, which is shared governance.
Good morning, trustees and President Linder. Let's see. So our May report is kind of short. We have nothing new to report for Student Senate as they did not meet in May. Faculty Senate had their last meeting on May 14th, and they announced that they have 3 new faculty senators. And that, as I understand, is their last meeting until August. The staff senate had their last regular monthly meeting on May 14th. And staff senate put on a very successful and fun appreciation lunch during in-service week in May. And that was just an appreciation lunch for all staff and faculty during in-service week. We are still working on plans for a fundraiser. And directors, Sherry Goodyear has been working really hard in Springer to get the greenhouse going. She had wood delivered for that, and the greenhouse is being built by the Springer community. It's sort of a whole community project. And Sherry has also been hard at work getting the Rough Rider Mentorship Summer Program up and running at all 4 campuses. And that looks to start this week, as soon as we get students enrolled. The pinning ceremony is held on May 7th for the nursing students. And First Day Complete is now up and running. And Amanda Nelson has been working on creating flyers for all departments. And I think I'm reporting on town hall meetings, the last board meetings, but I won't repeat that. And for shared governance, we held 1 regular meeting in May. And shared governance was responsible for putting on the in-service week in May, which We feel went off pretty successfully. We had a lot of presentations, including our state of the college address by Dr. Linder. Presentations from Christian Human Resources, assessment and HLC updates with Sierra, chess updates, and then Maverick Maris, who did 2 presentations on the use of AI, and then a really excellent presentation by Kate Blackwell, on wildfire. And then there was lots of time for staff and faculty to hold department meetings and committee meetings were held throughout the week. And shared governance has updated our bylaws and passed that, and then we will have those posted on the website very soon. And then I have gotten our minutes and agendas are all on the website for shared governance up through May of this year. So those have been posted.
So I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
The fundraiser, you haven't, at this point in June, you don't have a date, can you change it to another one?
So yes, we were planning to have the staff senate fundraiser in June. And there have been some, I guess, with budgeting and making sure that we have word out and get vendors for that has been delayed. So I'm hoping that we will have one in July.
Thank you.
Yes.
And the other item is the town hall meeting was held in Warren. You didn't put board of trustees member Dr. Phyllis Martinez, and it's very important. I know you weren't there, but you should have gotten it from someone else because it's very important that people see, whoever looks at these minutes or any of these reports sees that the board member was there.
Okay, that is an important thing, and I'm sorry I missed that. I could definitely see if we can revise these minutes to have that added.
This report,
This report.
yes, if you could do that, and then Leslie Ann can give us another copy the next meeting that we have,
Okay,
just to put it on the record.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Any questions on Bristol? If not, then thank you very much, and thank you for all the work you do.
Thank you, Dana.
Next item is Dr. Linder. Oops, no, it's us.
You
Board
guys,
of
we're
Trustees.
this one to the next.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
I'm glad I can turn off my lights.
First, report is from myself for the executive committee. And, we looked at, information about ATP study by MPT, the institution chess, institution audit, student housing update, regional IPRA meetings, academic and student services, facilities updates, capital outlay cemetery, and personnel. And I think that you are going to go through most of these.
Yes.
The other item is the LCC Foundation tabled MOU, and the concern is that there isn't anything in their bylaws that states how they give, and I looked through the bylaws, I could not find it, I also asked one of the board members of the foundation if they could provide that. There isn't any process in place as to how they give scholarships, which is a concern from a potential donor, plus dates, amounts, that sort of thing. So I asked that person on the foundation to find something. He hasn't responded, but I think they're probably gonna work on it because that's gonna be, has to be part of the MOU. So that we can be clear, so that we can have everything in place in case this huge donation comes about. Thank you. So the other one. So we still have that table probably until July, not on the agenda today. Other updates, the ramp cards, which are the charge cards that are used by people, employees of Luna. New trustee training, we have no discussion, no report at this time. We have one person looking at possibility of a retreat. And I will continue to provide information as I get it. The governance leadership in August. Oh, that's the same thing, board retreat. New trustee training and board retreat are probably gonna be combined. It never hurts us to have the training twice. Board technology quotes for smaller devices will be in July. And I think that's it. Do you have anything to add? Trustee Portillo?
No, everything was covered. I just missed the very end of it, but yeah, no, you covered everything. Thank you.
Okay, next is the academic. Oh, the finance. Would you happen to have any information? I don't.
I go, they're the insurance stuff.
Yes, so we'll have to. Let's see, I'll pass it to you. They're short. Just the summary, Trustee Real.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. So we were at the audit, committee. And the financial summary analysis budget actual for me. And so we just went through the budget and looked at different areas where we could potentially save money. The cost centers, students receivable, right? And accounts payable, procurement, check, right? Okay,
And we'll get a full, report from Dr. Shields in our packet already for
absolutely.
the rest of the board.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Next one is the academic.
So we got together on the chair, on the, June second. We, got the Ortega, the Sandy. Yourself were there, Dr. Henrietta Romero and the Linda were there, or the reporter. There's a determination of four, of the quorum. Some of the, minutes that the minutes were approved for ending February 7, 2026. Like the instruction of two services, Romero brought up the enrollment, we discussed the enrollment. We're excited, we had an increase to, I don't know if you see it down there, to 272 from, for June 2nd of 2026. The difference between then and the last year of 2025. I'm not sure how many students we discussed or difference, but there anyway, there was an increase, but we discussed that. There was also personal updates, recruitment and admissions, when you mentioned. There's a search for the manager search or search for the manager. This position has failed, currently, they go through, so they have, reposted the job. And we also discussed the veterans benefits coordinator search, but this position is currently ongoing and applicants will be scheduled for interviews. Dr. Romero, can you let us know where we at for that?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Veterans, vote or search?
Yeah, so that position is, we've already interviewed, and so we'll be working to make an offer fairly soon for that.
She also mentioned we're hoping, we're just mentioned that they have an offer on it. And we've discussed the fit services and academic updates. Professional development updates for division. 3 dental faculties will be attending a dental COA conference in June in Florida. We also discussed the continued support for the PD for our staff and faculty. We discussed the CDL testing center update. LCC has finalized agreement with the Taxation Revenue Board Vehicle Department for division for the CDL testing center. All that we have additional revenue. Could you give an insight of that where we at with that, Mr. Romero?
It's part of your report, correct?
It sure is.
Yes.
Yes, we'll cover that.
Yes.
Got fiscal year 27 faculty, Dr. Romero, thank the trustees for approving the fiscal 27. That budget. Dr. Romero reported that our college and career readiness institute under the direction of Director Bellows was awarded 2 grants for the Valley Literacy Pilot Program. For this for this year, 2026, and up until June 2028. Adult benefit program, providers program as well. Like the report that we have submitted are required NCSRA data submissions with Assistant Denise Gibson, President Sheila Beck, Denise Gibson, and Larry Pines. For the, for assistant and being part of the, fulfilling the requirements. And we, other update, we announced our next update will be, July the 7th. Madam Chair,
Thank you very much.
that's all I have.
Next, Tom Reader.
I said the word, that, Roland Mandrano, here's the chair of that committee, so.
You're talking about, the first page of Board Academic Committee?
Yes,
Okay, so if you could just, whoever takes the minutes could make sure that they have Rolando Medrano chair. Okay? The, facilities does have trustee Ortega as committee chair. Thank you, if you could give us that report, trustee Ortega.
gladly. Yes, we met on April the 7th, and I know, June, excuse me, June 2nd.
But we approved.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's why, yeah.
Yeah, April 7th. Okay, so the facility updates, trustees, you'll have it in your packet. Roofing insurance project overall completion is at 95%. The SBEDC roofing is complete, trades, buildings are at 60% complete. Change order needed for trades, building, decking installation. Installation and estimated at 40 to 50,000. Includes recent updates, installation codes. Change order, approved for automotive building, for his own pro panel replacement. Screen. A roof harbor system approved for automotive buildings. Insurance warranty being applied to recent leaking in the CTE buildings. Applying styrofoam on edges of roofs for building and burden prevention.
That's a good thing.
Yes. Capital outlay projects, I think, Dr. Lenko will probably be reporting on the rest of it in her report. Any questions or anything you see there? President Lander?
You might also mention the digital sign is right.
Right, the digital sign has arrived and we're really happy to, want to see that up. It was suggested that we might possibly even rent that space, that, sign to other businesses or advertisement in the future. And, Dr. Shields did say that that is possible as long as the monies go back into the students, correct, Dr. Shields?
Absolutely.
So that's a possibility. What else, Dr. Matter?
Trustee Sandy mentioned about the signage to make sure that it's ADA compliant. So I think that's an important, thing to know.
And Braille is spelled.
Yeah. Needs to put, that was Leslie, I didn't catch it in her minutes.
I'm sorry, once a teacher, always a teacher. I'm glad to see the digital sign is here because that means that for the past 6 years, at least every other meeting I mentioned a sign, I thought I could stop now. Thank you.
It's not up there.
Well, it's not about that. But at least I never mentioned it, so I have
I
to.
the letter 2 more times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
To that point, sign, is the contractor gonna put it up?
Yeah, my understanding is yes, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'll find out. But Matt knows about it, but I don't remember exactly what the details are, but what I remember was that the contract was strong. But I'll figure out for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Ortega. Next item is president's report, Dr. Linder. That's on page
20 something. Okay.
20.
28.
28.
You know, I started at 29.
In your board packet, this board packet,
Yes, ma'am.
here,
No, this is not gonna work.
we have a packet for a separate packet for, trustee Ortega.
Here's the president report.
No, I'll just put it down.
Your packet.
Against report. That was your,
Hi, Randy. So, Madam Chair.
Yes.
You don't have to read it for all those breaks.
she wanted to give me
I'm just kidding.
a ream of paper the other day. I have one ream of paper left and it's great. And I said, no, probably too interest.
Madam Chair, fellow trustees, yes, my report is on page 28. And I have a couple updates that I included in my weekly report on some of these things that I'll just go ahead and include. The first thing is that when I put this report together, we resubmitted our request for the housing and worked on that significantly for the capital outlay monthly hearing, and we do have that hearing tomorrow. And so we will be on that, and yes, and we are, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but we're number 23 on the agenda.
Maybe good, because
I've been tired,
they won't be asking questions. And
So anyway,
they
but
might be listening, better not say too much.
anyway, but I think that we've addressed the concerns that they have, and we've put together a good PowerPoint presentation on that. And really addressing sort of, we also included information about the need in in the area, and have added that. So we do have our architects and our Palomar modular home representative that aren't part of the presentation, but they will be online to answer any questions if there's any questions that come up. And Matt Griego and I will be doing that presentation. I have had several meetings with Highlands about having an MOU for housing in the fall. And I did see the administration on Sunday, but I have not received that MOU back. I am gonna follow up on that because I'm sure that that's gonna come up tomorrow at the monthly hearing. So anyway, we are working with them on having an agreement for housing for the fall, and they do have they do have the space for the fall that they've assured us. Dr. Martinez mentioned this MGT feasibility study. Again, this is something that was originally appropriated in the 2025 legislative session. And they are now doing the study in the month of June. And they are, we provided all the information to them. We've provided all the financial information, all the academic information. If they need additional information, they will let us know. They are now in the process of doing interviews, and I think Dr. Martinez, you have yours scheduled, and I think that they reached out to you, trustee Portillo's, and I don't know if you have that scheduled yet.
No, they did reach out, but I haven't scheduled it yet, but I will today, Dr. Linder.
So I didn't, there was only 10, and so they
So
are,
I'm not sure if trustee Dominguez got an
He did not.
invitation.
he did not, but if they, I got a list of the people that they did invite. I gave them a list of 23 possible people. If they don't get a hold of the people that they've reached out and done that, then they'll reach out for more. But what they wanted was the board of trustees leadership. They have already talked to Dr. Shields, Dr. Romero and I, and we provided that information. So what they want to hear is stories.
Did they interview you
They've interviewed us twice.
45 minutes?
Well, they talked to us, we had two about hour and 15-minute meetings, I think, with them.
And that was together.
Yes, together, but we did, and Tanya was also part of that as well. And we had an opportunity to sort of, on Friday, when we had our meeting, we had an opportunity to sort of share more stories about what we think is the impact of Luna Community College. So if you have anything that you want Dr. Martinez to say, board members, then just pass that on to her, and she can add it to her 45 minutes, so that would be good.
That would be good.
Yeah,
Do
so
I need to say anything to the people that are doing the
Yeah.
study?
Yeah, so just put it on a post-it, and I think yours is scheduled for Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
Thursday.
one.
I'll trust you.
Okay,
Okay,
they want stories. So if you have a story,
of the impact. I did mention, in my story, and I did share this information, but I did mention the stories that are alumni, because they wanted to talk to alumni, but I did mention that our Luna Light edition has really powerful stories in it, and I did provide that information in there, and I provided the information for specifically, but I think that we're just coming out of commencement, and I think that that's a really.
and I
really
think
powerful
Rosalie
story.
has a good story, but I know it.
Anyway, so you know that, and so we can, that will be good. Anyway, so we are doing that, and they are concluding that at the end of the month. We have had, let's see what else, so I have mentioned the regional, the legislative finance committee that. I did attend, it did give me the opportunity to actually present the certificates and the shirts to Representative Joseph Sanchez and Senator Pete Campos. And so that was really nice, and I think that I said, and I did manage to get them in there, I think I said I was gonna put the photos into this report. And I showed them at the executive committee, but I didn't get them into the report, but there are some really nice photos, there's some great photos of you, Trustee Madrona. Some great photos when they were here before, but we've got those and we'll share that. Dr. Romero will probably talk about this, but we are in the process of setting up town halls for Guadalupe County and Colfax County, and Dr. Romero was at the Guadalupe County Commissioner meeting there. We did have, gubernatorial candidate Greg Hull and Mayor of Rio Rancho on our campus on May 22nd. And Tanya thinks that we probably are the only school in New Mexico that has had both now gubernatorial candidates that have actually been here. So I think it's a really great thing. They've been up on our campus. And I think that that's really powerful for that. And Dr. Romero will talk about the Villanueva Town Hall. We completed the CESI survey, that's the Community College Survey of Student Engagement. And we did sign up to have the Sense survey, which is a different survey of brand new incoming students that takes place in the fall. And then the survey of student engagement also takes place in the spring of everybody that's finishing in the spring. We did do the campus climate survey, and we've added it to the agenda for July for Christy to give a little bit of an update from that and compare it from last week. And last year on that. People have already talked about that. I don't really have any update completely on the funding of the EPA grant, but I've mentioned several other grant opportunities that we've talked about. I don't think we've heard about the child care expansion, right, Dr. Romero? I don't think we've heard about that yet. And then we did submit 2 priority projects for the summer hearings. We submitted thank you to Jeff Gamblin and Matt Griego, who put in a request for $500,000 to support network infrastructure upgrades. And we also got $250,000 during the legislative session. And then we put in requests for $250,000 for that welding building roof. So that summer hearing will be in July 28th. You've sort of seen that. Shout out to Michael Montoya that he got the Chess Superstar Award. And a lot of work has been done on that, and I really appreciate Michael's leadership on that. The Luna Light does also have some great photos from the nursing pinning and the preschool graduation. And let's see, I have a lot of that. It looks like I have some things. Athletics, we had a great press release that came out. I hope you take a look at that looks at all the successes of our athletics this last year. And a lot of wins, definitely an increase in academic recognition for our 22 athletes are being awarded academic all region, which is very exciting. And what else was I gonna say? athletic director. He has been going to camps and speaking, and he did also go to the regional meeting up in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Capital outlay projects are on page 33. I think, thank you, trustee Ortega, for giving us an overall good update, but it does give you a list of all the different capital outlay projects that we have. We did have 30 students, 30 employees complete defensive driving projects there. And, let's see what else. I think I already mentioned during the shout outs, the work of the Atlas and the Assessment Academy, everybody that's working there. We are working on contracts in HR. I wanted to point out that we were at 88.2% completed performance appraisals. And there's 22 remaining. Now, last year I reported 91% completion. However, in that 91%, it's not really comparing apples to apples. So last year, that 91% was all full-time and regular employees and did not include adjuncts. And so we've really been pushing, Christie's been pushing hard, and it didn't include students. And so Christie has been pushing really hard to make sure that all of our employees are getting evaluated. And so this number is the number of reviews completed. I think last year we had 145, so it is up over last year with that. And I might have to talk about that a little bit next year. We continue to have a lot of people using the wellness center, and we have a lot of activities that are happening in the WRTC. There is trustee Ortega, there is it's gonna be another wildfire class that's happening at Santa Rosa the week of June 21st. And so we will be offering that class, and we were set to do it in Roswell this month as well. And there's been some logistical things on the Roswell at the Roswell Correctional Facility about whether we will have that. We have Youth Conservation Corps summer students that are here. There are, I think, 6 students that are here plus 2 adults, and they started on Monday. And they did also have 40 middle school students that came over and looked at the sim table. So, and I just talked to Hank on yesterday, and he was at the Brazos. And they had something like 40 or 50 people at a presentation there on wildfire fire as well. So they're looking at expanding that. So that's what I have.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay,
Where you're talking about the student housing and the fact that LSC is concerned about market and feasibility. I suggested at the executive meeting that you include the numbers of students who stayed at New Mexico Highlands in the past 2 years, or whatever, to add to that, because even though you only have 55 responses,
yes,
there was more than 50 staying over there.
yes. So we have added that to the presentation.
Sounds good, thank you. And of course, the call for an interview, and it's all gonna be Louisa myself. And then on 29, you said we have a list of 108 certificate recipients to be included in the June board report. So if you could send us that by email, page 29.
No, I said he sends in my. Oh, I was gonna give you the list of all of the certificates, right? And so you're right, I was gonna give you that list, and so let me make sure that I sent.
So if you could just send that,
I'll do that, sorry.
Okay, on page 30, on the Lano grant, advanced nuclear welding pipeline. It's my understanding that somebody on the staff has to be able to weld the nuclear process or whatever it is. Is there someone on the staff now that can do that? Because I think that's a requirement of the grant.
So what we have been working on, and Dr. Romero can talk about this a little bit more, but what we have been doing is working with Lano and making sure that everybody, that our staff are fully trained to meet all those requirements. And so I know we attended a meeting that they attended, and they're gonna be here again, I think, and so I'm not 100% sure, but maybe Dr. Romero can check on that.
Okay, I will ask her in her report. And, I think that was it. Does the rest of the board have any questions about anything to do with Dr. Linder's report? Thank you, then. Next item will be the VP report. Oh, Dr. Linder, before we go on, can I ask you something about your president update? Last week,
Yes,
okay,
I don't have it
so,
with me, but yes.
I'll let you,
Yeah, that's all right. I might remember. I'm not sure.
And I'm sure bye vocals.
I press it.
I wanted, okay, this, ING low operational revenue balances. I wonder if, I don't know if Dr. Shields would be able to give us that brief explanation about why the budget was not approved, or if you want to do it during his report.
So we can talk about that a little bit during Dr. Today's report.
Sounds good.
I think that will work.
Okay, the other item that you have on that report is the website redesign.
Yes.
And I told Jeff a while ago that I was not understanding half of this stuff. So can it be explained in layman's terms?
Okay, let me go through what I said.
Yeah.
So,
Keep that.
okay, so I think that in layman's terms, okay, so one of the things that's gonna be new about our website is that, so we started this website project last fall. And there were things that they transferred over on from our website last fall, and so one of the things that Jeff and his team and Tanya and her team are doing are updating the content and making sure that it's completely up to date and matches what is currently on our website with what they had I think they had done a dump last October or September or something like that.
Yeah, it's like they were during the fall, so if it's referring to the updates, then they took a snapshot back then. We've continued to maintain our current site, so one of the things we're doing is going through the new one and making sure we get all of the information current. Because there's a snapshot of when they took that data.
So they built it based on information from last fall, and what we're doing now is updating that based so that the new information and making sure that we're not, when we transition to the new website, which is on a different server that's on a test site right now, that we're not, when we transition, we want to make sure that everything that's on our current website that's newer, that we capture that. The other thing is that it's gonna have an intranet, so right now, we don't have an intranet, so if you wanna get an HR form that's an internal document, we don't have the ability to do that, so the single sign-on documentations that we're doing will just be that employees will then be able to log into the website to get to documents that are only for employees. And so then, maybe this doesn't make sense, but they're currently enhancing the table module to serve out streamlined staff directory. So the way that we do the staff directory right now, it does pull from a certain database that we use. And keeping that up to date, and so that is another thing that we're having to work on, is how we do that. And then we're also looking at just trying to update the photos. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so, and make it easier to navigate.
Yes.
Because right now, you're trying to find something, you go there.
It'll be far easier.
I just use the search bar.
Yeah.
I guess that's the answer.
I use the search.
AI. Trustee Portillo, would you have a question?
No,
Oh, I thought you were waving your hand. Let's see, the other question I have on the report is the page, about the athletic facility. So my understanding after reading through the whole, 4 or 5 pages of information, we're not getting a feel.
Oh, that's not what that said.
It's only the basics.
So Okay, thank you, and actually, we have an update, so we have an update on that, so what I did provide in my weekly report, so we are getting $2 million from the lieutenant governor. And what we had proposed using the $82,000 for, in the statement of work that I provided in my weekly update, was actually just to do a little bit of portion that would get us started on the survey and the geotechnical engineering. However, that is what we reported, but yesterday when we heard from HED, they told us that was not the intent of the funding, even though the letter, we had checked to see if there were restrictions on that funding. And they said that it was not for anything capital related, it's really to help those students, and so. Right now, Randy and Tanya, I just reviewed it right before I came over, have updated a new plan. They wanted to directly support that $82,000 to directly support the students, although I do think a field would directly support the students. But so we've revised that, and Randy and Tanya have revised that to say that some of the money will go for equipment, safety equipment, and I'll share that update and travel and meals and also rental costs that we have for this year on the Rodriguez home. So we will submit that hopefully later today to revise that. We looked again at what their guidance was, and there was nothing that said what the guidance was that it could be used for, but when we heard from them yesterday, they said that what we had proposed was not appropriate.
Okay, so, but the $2 million is still
Yes.
in the pipeline.
Yes.
To be used hopefully for a vehicle.
Yes, it's just that what we were trying to do was just get ahead of that and use some of that money to actually get that started a little bit faster.
On that one, I'm sure, that's just one field, just for the
No.
or some college.
Both.
The baseball and softball.
Interchangeable.
No, they're different fields. Yeah. They're two different fields.
So and on the list of the chart funding project, so that would be, okay, the 2 million, then you have the 50,000.
For wayfinding, for campus improvements.
Okay,
Yes,
and then the tech, which is,
yes,
Okay.
250,000 from Jeff, yes.
okay, so this procurement of third-party topographic survey won't be done.
Not at this point. Well, we do need to do it, and so our plan is to try to go to the capital outlay monthly hearing in September or October with those plans, they started on that. So Randy's done a lot of preliminary work on that, he's looked at a lot of things, and he does have a plan of how he thinks that we can build a field. It is not gonna have, there's not plumbing out there, there's not electricity out there, so he has a plan to try to do solar out there. And so those are all the things that we have to look
At
at.
least the beginnings of it.
Yes, no, yes, that funding should be forthcoming.
All right, thank you.
On that work, I'm sure.
Yes.
So are you gonna request more money to fix the field?
So we will see where we stand on that, and we would like to do that. But I think Randy thinks that we can get a usable field for that amount of money.
Good.
And
We'll bring our own chair.
We'll bring our own chairs.
that same one, I'm sure, is that, well, of course, it needs to be, 88, there's a.
It will have to be. Yeah, it will have to be. If it's a public institution, and so that is something that we talked to Randy about. So it will have to have an architect design, just like the housing and everything that we're doing with that. Absolutely.
Thank you. Next item, sorry, Dr. Little. If you can continue or begin.
We didn't even let her begin.
I know.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, President Linder. First I'll cover, enrollment update for the summer session. Right now, we're at 304 head count, which is about 9% above what we were last year. Our last year's overall census head count was 280, so I'm really happy to report the 9% increase. I do also want to say, because our number is not yet official, we haven't had census yet and done that final reporting for summer session. As of right now, we stand at a 8.67 average this academic year in terms of an enrollment increase between fall, spring, and summer. So really huge thanks to the student services team, who's done a phenomenal job, our academic directors who've done a phenomenal job, our faculty, and all of the other support that we've had to be able to get students in the door, get them serviced and be able to provide them with the necessary services that they need in order for them to enroll and seamlessly get through their classes through the semester. So I think that those particular efforts throughout the academic year are campus-wide. There are a variety of folks who have a hand in those things. The Student Services Division has really pulled in very closely and very tightly to be able to work with academics to help with this enrollment increase. And so I'm very thankful for all of their hard work this academic year. And I foresee us continuing in this direction going forward. And hopefully we'll have an increase this upcoming fall. So fall registration is open, is active, and our folks are working diligently hard now that summer has begun to be able to get students in the door for the fall semester and get them registered. I do want to mention that we did have a great visit at the Villanueva Community Center we did the town hall on June 6th. We had great participation and communications from the community during that meeting. I would like to say thanks to Mike D. Hill, who represented Trustee D. Hill during that meeting. So we are very thankful to hear from the folks there about the needs that they have. We are working through the notes that we were provided back. My team is developing their notes to provide feedback to me so we can figure out within the next month or so what we might be able to offer as a quick turnaround time. There are some things obviously that we may not be able to support just given circumstances, funding, resources, all of those things, but we definitely let them know that we are here to listen. We didn't make any guarantees that day. We want to hear what they have to say. And I think that that should be the intention of all of our town halls, including the ones that will be scheduled in the future for Vegas, Springer, and San Rosa. I did attend the Guadalupe County Commission meeting on May 21st. I did send over a request to them to be able to do a town hall. They did ask for me to attend the commission meeting. I was very thankful during that time that I was able to have a couple of minutes to speak to them and invite them. And so I have yet to hear back from those folks, but I am following up with them so we can schedule some preliminary dates. I'm gonna have them decide between 3 dates that we can host the town hall in that area. So once that information comes out, as you received the previous invitations, you will also receive that one. We did finalize contracts for faculty for the summer. We also finalized our book adoptions for fall and for summer. Summer had been finalized for quite some time already. We also worked on a specific crosswalk for Las Vegas City Schools. They requested to meet with us in relation to our dual credit courses that we offer and how they support the graduation requirements for their new incoming freshman class for this upcoming academic year. So we've shared that information with them. We're waiting for their feedback to see if they have any recommendations for changes or anything like that. So that way the school understands what courses we offer that meet their specific requirements, and they'll be able to share that with their students. And we hope that will also help provide a better dual credit pathway with the city schools, high school at Robertson, for their students to kind of have, a set kind of courses and pathway to get their dual credit, because right now their pathways are required for them for graduation requirement. So if we can be a little bit more clear about how those things support their students through that process and their enrollment in dual credit, I think this will help increase our partnership and our work with them as well. I've been working with AVP Montoya to provide some assistance when needed on the CHESS SIS project. We are wrapping up very, very quickly on that because our go live is fast approaching. As mentioned before, Dr. Linder had indicated that he's done a wonderful job with managing that project with that team. When I'm available and I can help sit in on some of the team meetings, just due to staffing and time conflicts and things like that with scheduling, I do provide that necessary support to that team. And then we are very excited that the Colfax County voting situation went off very well, and we didn't have any issues or hiccups there. We had a lot of folks that participated in coordinating that and working with that with our team to get that done. One of the things that I do also want to report on that was a couple of months requested before by Trustee B. Hill is information in relation to artificial insemination programming here and a potential interest. I know he had some questions for us in relation to that. And so what I just want to say about that is This program, roughly from what the research that I've been able to do with Karen Torres and talking to partners like folks at New Mexico State University who have a similar program like this. This particular usage of AI is what they call it, for beef cattle producers in the region is those who
reach that, right? Because now everybody thinks about AI differently, but previously we always thought about, you know, insemination instead of intelligence.
So, thanks for that, actually.
I'm a reproductive biologist, sorry,
Yeah.
I just had to add that.
Essentially, this process is very low within the region in this area. It's roughly about 7.6 to 8% of beef cattle producers. There is low adoption rates. We haven't seen a huge increase for this need, and there is a lot of infrastructure that is required for a board credit program like that. Because we require a veterinarian that's on staff, we require a specific facility, there's some also liability logistics that are not feasible for us to kind of institute at this point, and I don't necessarily see that we would have a good return on investment if we had something like this. Now, if we needed, or there was like an increased need in the region for us to be able to partner with New Mexico State University, they did say, please let us know if there's anything else that we can do, but please send folks to us. We'd be happy to help them and provide them with other resources. Sometimes they have folks who are certified in this area that can already do that. So essentially, if people are in need of that information, we could definitely forward them to our partners at New Mexico State. We appreciate their collaborative conversations with us about this particular program. But essentially what this means is that for right now, this would not be a program that we would definitely consider for credit or even in the professional credit program because of the amount of cost that it would take to have a veterinarian on staff. We would have to have a very different setup in terms of location, and like just a place to have the cattle and house them for a period of time and, you know, all of the things that are needed in order for this to be successful here. So I'm really sorry to deliver some bad news to you, Trustee Hill, but I did want to give that information to you that we did do some research, and considering our facilities and what we have right now, this just probably wouldn't be feasible for Luna. But we are definitely, if you have folks that need to be, you know, given some support from New Mexico State, we are happy to share that information with those folks if you need that.
Thank you, Manager, thank you, President, thank you, Dr. Romero. Yeah, if you can take that, spread it to the ranchers out there.
Of course, not a problem. I will definitely generate some information for you that you can share with your folks.
Thank you.
Not a problem. The other thing that I will say is I know we had a wonderful nursing pinning ceremony in May, along with our
And I-
commencement
Can I
ceremony.
ask you a question about your part of the report
Sure.
before you go on? So we had a town hall meeting tomorrow, back in, was it May,
In April.
April? Has there been any movement on the plan for the community request?
So what we're doing with all of the town halls is we're looking through what the notes are that came back from them. Now, some of the work that's been asked or some of the things that have been requested, such as dual credit instruction at Mora High School, that's already in process. So we've already received a request and are working with the district for that, for some courses that they've asked for the upcoming year. Some of the other things that were made a concern, like for example, some of the billing and things that need to happen through finance, those are partnership conversations we're having internally with Dr. Shields and his team to be able to try to work through those things. So we're trying to make it as comprehensive as possible, but some of the challenges that we have are things that we may or may not be able to support. But what we want to do is really develop a team of folks who are going to be able to respond to those needs. So the dual credit need, for example, that was addressed at the town hall, yes, Madam Chair, that is being addressed.
So you'll put together a plan based on what the community requests, not only for Nora, but for the other two sites.
For all of the town halls that will be
Okay,
held.
so we'll have that be forthcoming, that plan.
Yes.
Okay, so one more thing. On the dual credit for the welding, there was two different possibilities. Have you looked at both of those possibilities to hopefully get in place by the fall? Welding dual credit?
So we haven't gone to Mora High School yet because part of the question and the request for courses to include welding at Mora requires a campus visit. So we've already talked to the superintendent this week, actually last week, in relation to those requests, so we can make a visit. We have to inspect their facility to make sure that it has all of the critical things. Electrical is probably the most important thing, to make sure that the students can do welding over there.
Well,
So
they've done welding there forever, but
I
that,
understand that.
that isn't the point. The point is, there's not gonna be a teacher unless Luna provides an instructor, which could be anybody that's certified in welding. They don't have to be teacher certified. But Luna has to pay for the person. The second option mentioned was the use of the blue bus to bring the kids to this campus.
And as I mentioned, we're in conversation with the superintendent on both of those requests in
Okay.
terms of transportation and the course offerings that they're requesting. I am well aware of the fact that we would need to provide a faculty member if they do not have a faculty member, which we're doing now in the upcoming fiscal year. We were approved for another full-time welding instructor. So as soon as we have that job description revised, part of that job description revision is for us to make sure that our faculty can travel to the various satellite locations, not just stay here in Las Vegas. We want them to travel to Mora, to Santa Rosa, to Springer, to all of our service areas to provide instruction if the need is in fact there.
Just because parents have called me and what can I do? All I can do is ask the administration to put it in place. Okay, the second thing, I was disappointed that in the past, we have always had at graduation, an honor, program where students that have received, graduation from 2 institutions are recognized, and that was not done this year. So I read somewhere that 10 students had received graduation from 2 institutions. And they were given boards or something, understood, but in the future, can we make sure that those students are recognized? Because we had, I believe, West Las Vegas, Mora, I don't know about East Las Vegas, Highlands, that those students need to be recognized, because that's quite an accomplishment to be able to graduate from 2 different programs, from 2 different institutions.
Thank you for that comment, Madam Chair.
And I know on, Mr. Montoya's report, it says dual credit ports. Us and their high school, but there was also, I believe, one from Highlands as well.
So again, thank you for that comment. I appreciate that. It is not always made aware to us as an institution when a student is graduating from another public institution outside of dual credit students. The 10 students that you're speaking of are the 10 dual credit students who also graduated high school and received a credential from Luna.
Okay.
So we will definitely keep that in mind for future years. For
As I
commencement, to
mentioned
be
in the
able
past,
to.
they've always been honored, that they've. President has always made note of that and recognized them for that, so thank you. So that we do it in the future. Thank you.
Noted. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And that's it. Anybody have any questions on Dr. Romero's personal report?
Hi, Madam Chair, thank you for being there in my community. Sorry I couldn't be there but I did send my brother, my brothers and sisters, and I get to cover my bases.
Was that a younger one?
Older,
Oh,
he was a school board member for many years at West. I just want to thank you, the community called me and of course, my brother, how professional all of them were, and I thank you for that. And we can do anything and then let us know, and then as we know, there's different grants, and you know probably about that if we can help, because our community is trying to build, because our little school was slated to be closed, and I think if once a school like that is closed, I think the community just probably, not gonna say crumble, but start disappearing. Because they wanna take their kids to somewhere where they're close with their kids. So I think it's very important that I think we as an institution here, and I've said this before, Madam Chair, Dr. Linder, and trustees, it's important that we help all these small communities. And it's important because I think now I'm in that committee now to see how we restructure the Valley Elementary and Junior High. And I was telling them that hopefully that we could bring, if possible, I didn't promise anything, I said I'd ask. Bring students once a week this coming semester, which I'm sure, right? We're gonna have a meeting next week, our first meeting. And so that way, to give an opportunity for those students at Valley Elementary and Junior High to come and make one day to see the culinary arts, one day to see the welding. I mean, not one day, but 1 week. And, I'm just trying to build it up from the bottom up. But the community was very impressed and they've been calling me. And I think they're excited that hopefully they would be a little institution of LCC. But if we could come with a we could get the students from the elementary and junior high just come and look at it. And it's an honor. And I was talking to Madam Chair to see, because I remember when President Leroy Sanchez was here. Every summer, I know I was a representative at that time, and I asked him to put a summer program for all the schools, not just my school, but for Valley, for West, East, Mora. They were bringing in for a week, and they were giving different classes just to promote Luna Community College. I think that's just a suggestion. I'm always trying to bring the small communities because they're always left behind, and I'm always for the little guy. I guess because I'm little, no, but I believe that we can grow, and I'm trying to get different people in that to invest in Luna Community College. And now I'm just talking to another businessman that is thinking of, I can't say now, we're still in the process, that's why I talked to the chairman and doctor, but they, lender, president, but there's a business that wants to get out of business, but wants to see how we can communicate with Luna Community College. So it could be a learning experience for the students in all the areas, not just Las Vegas, but it's a fabrication. And I think that, I don't stop thinking of how to bring things to Luna Community College. And I think your expertise and Dr. Elizabeth and Madam Chair trustees, I think we can do a lot here. I think we can be recognized nationally. Every day I don't stop thinking of what to bring to Luna. And I'm saying not just programs, but money. I can listen to everybody. And I like to hear ideas and see how we can build the college. It's built already, but I mean, really, so it should come, yes, more students. And I want to see a success. That's my goal. That's why I ran. My goal is in 6 years to hopefully have 3,000 students here. It's amazing. One of my nephews visited, went in a tournament, visited, Flagstaff. They have a college over there with 23,000 students. And Flagstaff. And I think that, I'm not saying that I hope maybe we can bring 22,000 students here, but my goal is really to fruition, Luna Community College to be something where people in the community are proud of, and not only the community, but also our students that want to come here to build and then move on to a higher career thing. And thank you again. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, but there's a right commitment, can't change that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Trustee Portillo?
Thank you. Dr. Romero, I noticed in your report, Springer wasn't included. Can you please provide a board with the status of what's going on in Springer?
Yeah, so we haven't had a whole lot of work or movement at Springer, but what we do have is the Rough Rider mentorship continues to be, alive and well there, and thankful for Sherry Goodyear and her ability to be able to provide those resources for the summer. You may have received early this morning the Rough Rider mentorship summer schedule that she had sent out. I know she included the trustees with that. And so we've been working with her, recently to be able to get that schedule approved and make sure that everything is kind of in the moving, train about what we need to do for the summer program. The summer program is really popular in all of the areas for that. And so I know that there's a lot of work being done there, and we hope soon to have candidates interviewed for the Springer manager position. Again, we did mention before that the position that when we revised the JD, we wanted it to be a little bit more community focused, more community based, to be out and talking to folks in the area with the high schools, other businesses and other entities, to be able to get some movement there. We are having conversations internally about what is the best thing for us to be doing in the upcoming fall. We also hope that with some of the new faculty hires that we have, because those new faculty hires will have a requirement to travel to the other satellite locations. If we can offer coursework in those other areas, we're definitely gonna do that, because at that point, we would hopefully have full-time faculty that would be able to travel.
That sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that point, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm an SDI instructor, a school bus driver instructor, so I go to different schools. I was in Springer in, Sportillo's, district, and I was talking to the superintendent, Alcon there. So if she was saying if maybe if I'm not stepping on your feet, trustee, but, she did say,
No, you're not Trustee Vihil. I appreciate that.
thank you. So, I know she wanted to meet with somebody from Luna, and then also there is a nursing home that's just, there is one there, and then there's one brand new being built. I think that Luna would benefit a lot from that, at the same time, I think, because there's gonna be a lot of need for employment for those facilities, and then there's a correction facility there. So I'm not from there, but to me, like I said, I believe in it, I believe in helping everywhere I can. Sometimes I stretch myself thin, but I just believe on helping these small communities, and if anybody needs help, let me know, and I'm willing to talk to people. I do know people. And I like to make everyone try to succeed, because when somebody succeeds, everyone succeeds in the community.
Trustee Vihil, just an update. I serve on the hospital district board, so I'm a big part of the new nursing home that's being built there. And the administrator, Ashley did it, has worked with Luna. So we do have several CNA classes that take place, and there is going to be a need for more staff hires, because it's a larger, actually probably double the facility that we presently have. But I know also in the past, they have worked, Luna has worked with the Superintendent Alcon there. I have not had an opportunity to meet her. But anyway, Luna has reached out in the past and worked. I think the issue there is that they just don't have a big enrollment in Springer, number one, with the high school students. And number two, I think the issue has always been lack of faculty. They just can't find anybody that's able to teach, because the big issue that we've always had, and one of the concerns is trades. They've always wanted vocational education, but they haven't been able to find instructors. So yeah, Luna has worked with the schools in the past, and but that's been the issue, because I know Dr. Martinez, I don't know if Dr. Linder's reached out, but I know last Dr. Martinez had met with them trying to figure out ways, and vocational education was the big one. And they do have a welding program there, and they do have a furniture cabinet making program there. And that was one of the issues, is just trying to find an instructor there. But I thank you for reaching out with Superintendent Alcon and following up on that.
And thank you for those comments, Vice Chair Portillo's and Trustee Vito. Dr. Linder and I have met with Superintendent Alcon this past academic year, so we have had conversations with her. We continue to have those conversations and keep their needs in mind. And I have had conversations with the mayor in Springer in relation to the nursing home and the need for CNA. We know that that's coming up. And we're gonna need to provide some necessary support to that. So we are looking forward to being able to offer some support out there in relation to that need when that comes up for them. Those are a little easier to put on because they're short-term courses that can run a shorter duration of the term. And so our academic director, Eric Wright, and myself are aware of those things coming up, to be able to try to meet the need once we know for sure, that they have that, and once they meet the qualified folks, then our intention is to work potentially with the nursing department to get the qualified folks out there to be able to teach for those short-term CNA courses. So thank you both for that information. A couple of things that I'll just cover to finish out my report is we continue to have professional credit classes that continue to increase in CTE and the workforce division, to include the ICAR Online, the AWS certification with the welding trailer build, blacksmithing, OSHA Online, OSHA 10 and OSHA 30. We are still also meeting the need for water and wastewater requirements and certifications for those courses as well. We continue to have a successful licensure examination rating CDL at 95%. So really thankful to that team for all of the work that they continue to do. I know that TIC and the education department is working with the CoLab to be able to provide a free workshop to local area teachers here on June 23rd. So that's going to be coming up on campus, which will be really nice. Because TIC has a 5-star preschool program. She works really well with these partners, and so we're really thankful to her and her support for that. And then we did have and continue to work through our adult education goals. We are currently sitting at like around 3rd in the state for the high gains. 76.92 is what Craig had reported last time. And as mentioned in the academic committee report, Craig was granted 2 private funding programs through the state of New Mexico for adult literacy, and then 1 for family literacy. So we're just waiting on the overall funding amount that has yet to be given to us by the state. They gave us our word, said we don't have the dollar amount, so we're waiting for those to come in. So congratulations to Craig and his team for all of those things. And we continue to try to work through the Student Services Division with AVP Montoya on the vacancies that we have to fill, which include a staff member in the financial aid office, and getting the Veterans Benefits Coordinator, Springer Manager, as well as the Recruitment and Admissions Manager in this division. And I do want to say a special thanks to Betsy Sanchez for her time at Luna Community College, and congratulations to her on her retirement. I also do want to say a special thanks to Connie Beal in Allied Health. She was a longtime faculty member for us in that area as well, and she retired this past spring as well. So for those 2 faculty, we are very thankful for their service, and they will be difficult to replace. But we appreciate all that they've done for our students and for our programs over the time. I stand for questions.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, my president, and Dr. Wilson, and I think he asked a question in his committee. So when is the CDL examiners, when are they going to go out to be trained for examiners?
So we don't have a specific date for that yet. We've been waiting to hear back. We're waiting on the training date from the state of New Mexico, but that's already in the works. So our hope is we're gonna get them on the examiner date in September. So I'm just waiting on a finalized date for that, so I should be able to have an update for you by next board meeting. We should have the finalized date, because hopefully by then we'll have the other person hired as well. So kind of working on 2 things at the same time to kind of get that through.
Okay. I think that's gonna be very beneficial. We're looking at, there's different companies, even myself, that are always looking for examiners, because we trained the driver, but then we can't find examiners.
Yes, and that very much is a critical need in the state of New Mexico, across the state. So it's not just a need here, but it's a need across New Mexico for sure.
There you go. There's, you have the report from financial aid, so I have a big question. Who reviews the student accounts?
So there is a review of student accounts that has to happen with financial aid prior to aid being dispersed. There's also sometimes a review that occurs if there are questions that come up from AVP Montoya.
Who does it? Because we don't wanna have this nightmare that we had last year.
So can you clarify your question? Like who
Who
does?
reviews the accounts as to whether they paid, whether they have a balance? You know, we had an issue just, 2 weeks ago, of a student who had money there, and didn't know nobody knew anything about it until it actually went to Dr. Linder and she started the investigation, including the people. Finance.
The responsibility lies with the finance.
So finance reviews the student accounts.
Yes, that is their responsibility.
Thank you. So we hope that we're not gonna have any more nightmares this year. Thank you. That would be Dr. Shields. And he's leaving, so what do we do?
I wanna just point out, one thing that is we're thinking about Director Sherry Goodyear, who has been working on still getting the summer program going, even with the loss of her husband James. And I had heard this before, but, I read it again last night in the obituary, is that the way that they met is that he was a student at Luna Community College in criminal justice, I think, right, Louise? And that Sherry was a woodworking student, but she got hired as a tutor. And
That's correct. She was an instructor, but she was also a student.
And then their daughter Jordan just finished in the adult basic ed, so that is definitely a family affair with that, and so we can credit. You can mention that in your MGT interview, trustee Portillo's about the impact, but when I was reading
Beautiful
that.
idea.
She gave a very long story that I thought was really powerful about how she met James, and it was because of Luna Community College. And so we're changing lives, and we wouldn't have Jordan, and we wouldn't have any of that, and we probably still wouldn't have Sherry if it wasn't for James, so thank you.
And
for
she
the
was,
life of-
and she was actually James' instructor when he was taking criminal justice classes.
And I think that's something that the foundation needs to look at too. There's a perfect story of a family involved with Luna.
Right.
Dr. Shields, you're up next. Yeah. And would you please note that trustee McDonald leaves.
Good to see you, trustee McGraw.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Associate Trustees. If you turn to page 43, my report will start. Giving you a basic overview, this comprehensive report presents a summary of the institution's unrestricted budget performance for fiscal year 2026 through May 26th of 2026 for the Finance Committee and of the Board of Trustees. The report covers total revenues actuals, expenditure actuals, the current fund balance position relative to the adopted budget. And as of the reporting date, the institution is tracking positively against budget with a healthy ending balance, reflecting sound financial management and continued alignment between operational activity and institutional financial objectives. So in starting this with the revenue summary, we have a total revenue of $13,463,803, which represents about 92%. And the performance that I would like to note is that the revenue performance full year budget with approximately 1 month remaining in the fiscal year, reflecting strong collection rates and positions the institution to meet or exceed budget targets. Under the expenditure summary, total expenditures is $13,331,363, which represents only 71% of the budget. And of course, this expenditure is through May 26th of 2026, indicating disciplined spending pacing consists with remaining calendar of the fiscal year. This favorable variance signals appropriate budget stewardships across the operational units. Turning on the next page. This here indicates that, the fund balance has increased about 132,439. And this is reflecting a net positive performance of revenues over expenditures. The ending balance of $6,322,488 demonstrates institutional fiscal stability and reserve capacity heading into the fiscal year close. Are there any questions of this basic overview?
It's usually me, and I think I exhausted all my questions and
You did a good job. You did a very good job at the finance committee. What I'd like to go to next is our banking. From a consolidated summary, and this will be on page 45, our total cash and investment holdings across all accounts amounts to $7,944,765.56. Below that gives you the banking detail, and it gives you the current cash in each one of our banks. Give you a second to review it to see if you have any questions. Under the Community First Bank detail, it has a total cash there of $3,459,554.87. The investment holdings, you see that we have $1 million in one CD, a 26-week CD with an interest rate of 3.20, maturity date October 29, 2026. And of course, the principal is $1 million. The second one, we have another one also for $1 million. And its maturity date is October 29, 2026. This has an interest rate of 3.45, and it has accrued interest to date of $5,401.94. So with the total first bank at Las Vegas, the total cash and investment is $5,467,415.48. Going to Southwest Bank, we have a money market operating account with a beginning balance of $1,406,330.90. It has an annual percentage rate of 1.26%. Now, prior to us moving to the money market, we were only earning a 0.10%. The activity is that we can't have any more than 6 transactions to be able to make it. So this is an account that has very little activity, but it has a continued increased balance because we don't withdraw from it. So the ending cash balance is $1,452,491.06. Now we have investment holdings there also, and there we have one at 52 weeks. The maturity date is February 18th, 2027. It has an interest rate of 3.35%. And so we have a projected payout at maturity of $516,985.50. On the next one, which is the 26th week, and its maturity date is August 20th of 2026. It has an interest rate of 3.15, projected payout at maturity of $507,873.52. So a total amount of cash and investment with Southwest Capital Bank is $2,477,350.08. And of course, our consolidated balance with both banks is $7,944,765.56. Are there any questions regarding our banking? All right, if you turn to the next page, 48. This here represents a consolidated performance of our cash transactions that's coming also from our bookstore, our cafe, and also what is paid directly to the cashier. It has a projection balance, it has year-to-date total through July and May, and also a full year projection going from July of last year through June of this year. We have a monthly average, and we also have some performance indicators below. So this gives you a good review of exactly of the activity that's taking place from a lot of our cash operations. Are there any questions or anything I can answer? If not, if you turn to the next page on page 50, this here is a breakdown of the budget analysis for, and as well as a summary of year-end projections. It gives you a lot of detail of the report of tuition fees, of course, the state appropriation, local government appropriations. And I would like to point out that you take a look at some of these variants of how we feel we might possibly end up. The thing that I think is really is a strong indicator of our performance, if you look at on page 51, on total revenues, that we're projecting to be a shortfall for the year of about 190,289, which is only 1.3%. And I think that's a pretty good indicator of our projections of how we have performed for the year. Going up under expenditures, we're showing extremely well performance, and we're looking at maybe a 21.7% reduction in the amount of expenditures that were originally projected for the year. However, there are, I'm sure, a lot of expenditures that still have to be accounted for that will come in at the end of the fiscal year. I put that up under risk factors. Year-end adjustments and accruals have not yet been posted. Transfers not tracked until the end of the year, and potential additional summer school tuition and fees cost about $30,000 still have to be noted. So the institution is in a strong fiscal position heading into the fiscal year end. Revenue was slightly under budget, but expenditures are significantly under budget, resulting in a projected ending fund balance approximately 3 to 4 million higher than projected. This provides a healthy reserve for fiscal year 27. Are there any questions? If you look on page 63, you have a look of the individual line items.
53.
53, I'm sorry. Also at the bottom, it has a chart. Give you another indication of the performance. All right, succeeding pages also give you a current status summary as of May 26, 2026, on page 54. Gives you what our total budget, our actual spend, commitments and obligations, available balance, and budget used. Next, it gives you some key findings from the cost centers. As well as the year-end projections. Of course, we give some on page 57, it gives some risk assessments. High risk, which the financial aid service, which we already knew about that's primarily came from Attain. The bookstore, the physical plant, which still has to be redistribution of some of those expenses. And softball, which has been explained previously. Well, we had some recommendations. Now, the overall outlook is the institution is projected to end fiscal year 26 with a modest surplus of 1.8 billion to 2.5 billion over budget areas addressed through internal transfers from underutilized cost centers. So if you turn to the next page, you'll have those cost centers. And I would say we have made some improvements of removing some of the negative cost centers. But some of them cannot be addressed until the end of the fiscal year. Return to page 60, we have the restricted budget status report. I'll just share with the first finance summary. As of May 26, 2026, the fiscal year 26 restricted budget is 80.6% utilized based on actual expenditures and reported commitments, leaving an overall available balance of $654,882.50. At the portfolio level, the budget remains manageable through fiscal year end. However, several individual cost centers have already exceeded budget or had a risk year-end deficit. The overall position is therefore positive in aggregate, but uneven at the program level, requiring close monitoring and targeted corrective action during the final month of the fiscal year. So let's get into the close. That's what normally happens for adjustments. In sharing in conclusion, in the fiscal year restricted budget remains sustainable overall, but several program level variants will require some immediate management attention before the fiscal year end. The primary concern is not an overall funding shortfall, but concentrated over spending in specific restricted cost centers that may not be offset by unused balances elsewhere due to funding restriction. Focused review and disciplined June spending controls will be necessary to support a clean year-end close.
And before you leave, you'll make sure that these recommended actions, somebody in finance will be able to do those?
Yes, talking with, President Bender, she will be identifying personnel who will be specifically handling certain accounts and, shared responsibilities when it comes to, identifying and making sure that these points of view has been addressed. As it pertains to the student accounts receivable, you see what our total gross receivables are. What I would like to share with you is we have in our new position that Ms. Sharice Sanchez is now the new budget director and bursar. And she is already started initiating collection activity to try to recover some of the outstanding balances. Looking at the last paragraph on page 63. The successful recovery of these student accounts receivable is paramount for safeguarding the institution's long-term financial health and operational resilience. These recovered funds are critical for bolstering our future cash flow, thereby directly supporting unrestricted operational activities and ensuring that sustained delivery of essential programs and services to our student community. This focused strategic approach is vital for maintaining fiscal stability and funding key institutional priorities. So in other words, what I want to say is that will do nothing but help us deal with our cash flow.
Madam President,
Trustee,
Jerry, Dr. Shields. So
Yes, sir.
that 1.384, 028 report, that's just for this year, that student.
Oh, no. That go back years. I can't say exactly how many years, maybe President Linder can help me with that.
I don't remember how many years, but that's like 182 all time.
Yes.
So, just a question. Usually, just by seeing things in our things, budget and sounding, representative. So, when you start seeing this kind of deficit, it's, to me, I think, Madam Chair, and maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am. Usually when somebody passes through 90 to 180 days, your chances of recovering anything are probably zero. Am I correct, or am I?
You're correct to a certain, I mean, I would say 50%, and let me explain my reason why. Given over time, students who leave us with a balance, they're not in a position to pay. That's simple fact. But given a few years, and they become settled and become employed and start their families and, those kind of things, they can pay. But it is for us to reach out and find them and, present them with their bill, and hopefully they will pay. So in other words, over time, they will be in a better position to be able to pay. But immediately right after, they probably can't. That's the reason why they did.
So, Madam Chair, President of the company. So, do we have, as an institution, if it's been years, do we have a plan just to If they've been over a year, is there a way to just, because in reality, if you send it to a collection agency, you're hurting their credit. Right?
Yes.
I don't believe, this is my personal opinion, I don't believe a student. We were all students at one time, I remember I went to college and when they say, go apply for financial aid and you'll get it. And then, I a lot of students. That once they got the financial aid, they were gone. But I guess what I'm getting at is there any way, Madam Chair, the President and Dr. Shields, figure out a way, because I personally don't think sending it to a credit card agency. Just hurts the credit later on in life, because they're young and some of them don't know. I'm not saying they don't know what to do, but it's hard to get out of the trench. Is there any way the institution can figure out a way to do something with dealing with, I can see the 30 days, probably will find them, that's, they're probably still in the system, well, all of them are in the system, don't get me wrong, but when you're talking 1,384,028, that's a lot of students, I think. There is no way that I think we're gonna spend more money. I'm just giving, just as a businessman, you spend more money trying to collect that than probably what you receive. I could be wrong, I'm just giving a thought.
No, you bring up some good points. But what I would like to share with you is the college is going to do everything they can to ask them upfront for the money. Now, if they still don't pay us, then we have a responsibility to Luna Community College to try to get our funds collected any way we possibly can. I mean, we have to put the college first from that standpoint, but we will try to ask and request, send them out letters of communication, make some phone calls, and try to get them or stimulate them to pay us. But if they still don't respond, then we have no choice, because the institution cannot ignore that from a due diligence standpoint. So hopefully I answered the questions. People will pay what they feel they need to pay. And, I hate to put anything on a student's credit, but if we find that they're working and they are affording new cars and homes and those type of things there, then I think, they can also pay their balance, because we're willing to work out a payment plan. We're not just saying pay the whole balance right then if they can, but we can no longer be ignored.
Madam Chair, Dr. Shields, I'm sorry for this matter, but we're concerned, so what you're saying is you put it in the paper time, so what the number of students that old Lumen Community College, what, do you have a number of it?
No, at this time I don't have, I can get that number for you, but I don't have that at this time, so.
Madam Chair, Dr. Shields, I have a concern, I think we can work on a plan.
That is, and one of the things I agree with you, trustee Behill, this is something that we have a plan. This is one of the reasons that Dr. Shields had wanted to hire a bursar. We hadn't had applicants for that. We then made a shift and switched over Sharice to, her experience is in accounts receivable. She is looking at that now, but that is why we actually did that change, because this has been a huge concern of Dr. Shields and mine, and having a plan of how we're gonna address that. And we do believe that addressing the more recent up to 180 days is gonna be the most, probably, have better success than the ones that are over 180 days. But that is what, that is something that when we've spoken to Sharice, that is what she's developing as a plan.
I'm chairman, and I don't mean to harp on it, I want to harp on it, but. I know it's hard for that, that's the hardest thing for anybody, even myself, in the business where. Once I finish the student, he get paid, by the time he finished and he gets his license, guess what? He's never come back and he's done.
So we agree with you, however, we can't remove any, we can't just say that we're forgiving this debt. We are not allowed to, as a public institution, to do that. You can't write it off your books, you can't do all that. As a public institution, it's gonna be on our books. And we have to have a plan, and we need to say we expect to collect whatever, 5%, 10%, whatever that plan is. But I think you mentioned before, which I think Dr. Martinez and all the board care about, is that we, especially when we're gonna have housing, is that we just need to make sure we have the positions of, the processes in place, that we don't have this, going forward, that we have them on a payment plan, that we're collecting, that we're doing all those things. And so that is one of the reasons that Dr. Shields wanted to have that versus our position filled.
Yeah, you have to take a look at these balances of state assets. Loans, loans to the state. And so we have a due diligence and a responsibility that we have to collect it. Now, how we go about doing it, we have, some flexibility. And if I'm hearing you correctly, you want to have some compassion, for the students. But as I was saying, normally after a few years and the student has, somewhat, transparent themselves into society and has a job. And they have, they're making money and moving on with their lives. I think that's a good time for them to, acknowledge the debt that they owed and to, pay. And we have a responsibility to ask. If not, then we're not doing our due diligence as an institution.
Did you say that there was gonna be a collection agency hired?
Yes, but those are the ones that's going to be the older ones that we determine after, trying to collect from them, give them an opportunity to pay us, acknowledge it. And we would then turn it over to them for a more defined collection activity. And it doesn't mean that automatically it'll go on as credit. Because we can also have the collection agency to, use certain processes, don't just immediately go in and file on their credit and try to repose something of that sort. No, we have control of how we would like to have our students collected to a certain extent.
Madam Chair, just the last one here. How quick, my nephew has a processing server, company. And sometimes sends me to different houses to go certificate for that. That collection agency is trying to collect. I'm counting 99% of those people. And I'm being honest, just going to take it back. Of course, I signed a time and everything that I served, but it's hard, it hits people hard, and that's why I'm kind of like, and I know the institution and I am a trustee and I took a sewer, and I do want to collect mine. But I mean, I thank you for saying that sympathy, but hopefully they'll come to their senses and they'll come and pay their institution.
It just all comes down to our responsibility as an institution.
Right, I agree with you, I think we have to try to collect. We can't just let it go.
It'll go into our audit report if we don't, and then we'll have a finding. All right, next on page 64, we have accounts payable and we have a breakdown of the various different expenses. Page 67, we have our compensation benefits and professional services. And I would like to say that we are performing under budget on all our categories. So the management, when it comes to the payroll and contractual services and benefits, we're doing very well.
So, Madam Chair, so that professional services, what companies are the professional services?
Well, there's a lot, one of them is me.
Productivity.
Productivity, a lot of, some other contractual services that supporting, the institution. I don't have a list of them, but that's something that can be obtained.
They are listed as sort of under the more detail that you have under the procurement, what we're doing for them. If we have those on page 7. Some of them are, but it's not a complete list.
Madam Chair, and here the reasons, could I have a list of services, for people that missions?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you. This would be,
Thank you, that's true. A list, if you could email it to me, all the contractual services
yes, sir,
for the institution.
absolutely.
To all of us.
Thank you. Yeah,
I would not shortchange any of you.
Pardon?
I said I wouldn't shortchange any of you. When one requests, I know to send it to everybody.
We appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
very good.
Leslie, and did you know, trustee from Wicked, thank you.
And on page 70, of course, is the procurement department. I would like to bring to your attention the comprehensive review, the closure and expendable items and the proactive supplier engagement. In the report, we have succeeding dates. Procurement cutoff May 15th of any new spending, so that we can try to close out our books for the end of our June 30th date. On page 72, of course, we have our monthly procurement report of the 15,000 and over. Also, we have our SIS report. Giving you up to date of our process and integration with the chess system and work study, as well as TouchNet. I would like to share the target date for going live is September 21st of this year.
For check.
Yes.
No,
2027. 2027.
2027.
All right, I moved it up a few days.
Yeah, you
but I'm
just we'd be in trouble.
You excuse me, to make that correction.
What would that be? No, sorry.
It's on page 74,
Four.
after 23,
Yeah,
2027.
oh,
Instead of 26.
oh, just change to 7.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The next few pages is, up to date of, county readiness report, primarily by productivity. I do have a more update report to share with you.
What did he add? You know.
Pardon?
Page 84, I think he had an updated.
That one is your release, that one.
Then you're thinking about it, so that's something. Then you're getting a good copies.
This one,
Yeah.
So whereas what's in the report here will give you and
I'm disappointed
understanding.
that the bank statement still hasn't come through. They sent
Yeah,
that
we're having some, the bank has not responded as we have requested. So I'm probably might have to make a personal, request to go down there and speak to them. We have tried 3 times I know of. And we have emailed them and they have even said at one point they would have it last Friday. And they still have not responded.
Because we have to put them on our agenda for Tuesday's meeting.
Well, hopefully, I will get them to respond, so that will not be necessary, but I do understand, Madam Chair.
Because this holds the whole thing up.
Very much so.
Well, Madam Chair, I'm definitely not, Dr. Shield, I expect that hopefully they respond to you because it is important that we as trustees, they gotta understand that we have money there. And I do have to, that they have to support you because you need to support this audit and it's important. And we're trying to help them, but they need to help us back. My dad used to say, one hand, una mano lava la otra y la otra lava la cara, no? One hand wash the other and both of them wash the face. So we all need to work together.
Well, I will, do my best to, try to enforce the need for us to get the reports as soon as possible,
And
at
the
least by
reason
complying.
bank locally is because we're relying on service. If
Absolutely.
we're not gonna get service, then we need to go to a bank that gives us better interest.
I couldn't agree with you more.
So
Oh,
now,
good.
what's the latest possible date that you foresee the audit being finished? If everything goes as planned.
Well, the only thing that I can control and what we control is what we do in response right now.
Let's say that.
And right now, we're responding, we're up to date in our response, but that doesn't mean that they don't pick out other items to be.
Understood.
She's
But-
talking about the FY 25, not the FY.
I'm sorry,
Right.
thank you.
In a perfect world,
I would say by the end of September.
Okay. Thank you.
By that time,
We're gonna keep calling you
I was gonna say.
September the 29th.
I'll definitely look down to my phone and say, okay. Things didn't happen according to my projection.
Yes, see that, I made sure that's what we put. Okay, continue.
All right, on page 85, this has my staffing and, it's basically on the, new, positions by Ms. Sanchez and Ms. Cruz. Ms. Sanchez, of course, is now the Director of Budget and, Bursar. And Ms. Cruz has taken over the responsibility of Controller. Both of them are experienced and highly qualified for their positions.
And also there's more accountability attached to their positions. I hope you realize that.
Absolutely.
Right now, we're in a mess. So, thank you. Unless you have something else, we can have Dr. Linder tell us about the mess.
Yes, ma'am. You go.
Is there anything else we needed to add?
No,
Okay.
thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure and honor working with this
Thank you.
college and
Appreciate it.
this trustee staff.
You're not rid of us yet. You'll be here Tuesday.
Oh, absolutely, but in case I don't have any more face-to-face communication.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate all your work.
I think, thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, we need to go to discussion item. Do we need Dr. Shields?
Yeah, right, we do, Dr. Shields, what you were continuing about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, did you want to request Dr. Shields' discussion item, letter B, budget approval revised?
Dr. Shields.
Yes,
That's okay, we can hear you.
okay. Yes, the budget item that we have is not ready for a presentation at this time. However, we will have a full packet and ready for, the special meeting on, June 16th.
All right, I would like to request that the board, make a motion to table FY 27 budget approval.
Second.
And roll call.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phyllis Martinez,
There.
Madam Vice Chair, Luis Portillos,
Yes.
Secretary Mark Dominguez, Trustee Andrea Savvy, Trustee Richard B. Hill,
Yes.
Trustee Rolando Medrano, Trustee Rosalie Ortega,
Yes,
Thank you. And the next item, Dr. Shields. FY 26 budget adjustment request BAR revised.
Yes, that one also is, we're still, revising that particular budget bar, and we will have that ready also on June 16th.
Okay, so I would like to ask for a motion to table.
So moved. Thank you.
I'll second it. And a vote.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phyllis Martinez.
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair, Luis Portillos,
Yes.
Secretary Mark Dominguez, Trustee Andrea Savvy, Trustee Richard B. Hill,
Yes.
Trustee Rolando Medrano, Trustee Rosalie Ortega,
Yes. So in the interest of time, Dr. Weaver, you can give us a short summary of what it is that HED has thrown the budget back to us for. Maybe 5 minutes, whatever.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Martinez. So this what they've done is that they have asked us to put together a corrective action plan. We had a productive meeting yesterday, with HED. And what they're looking for is not for us to solve, they're looking for us to put together a corrective action plan going forward within the next 2 years. And they did have some concerns that they had questions about some of the, items on why some items have gone higher and lower and what we're doing and looking at that. And so,
So like inconsistencies?
inconsistencies, but for instance, one of the things that we did do that was raised when I first went into the VP position 2 years ago is that Luna has for a long time budgeted the academic directors within the instruction in general exhibit 10. And that really is, they're not, they are not instruction. They don't teach. And so that was something that we identified and we just hadn't changed it. So we moved all of those. So they had questions like, why did we go from previously, I don't have that number right here, but why did we go from $500,000 in our academic support administration exhibit up to 1.4 million, but it really was not new money. They thought it was new money. So there were questions like that. They also are concerned that we have, approved the last couple of years, our revenues are not, although our overall revenues are looking for expenditures, that we have approved budgets that go into fund balance. And so they are interested in looking at what do we think are new revenue streams, for what are we thinking about long term? How are we gonna address that? And then also our expenditures, we do have some fairly large expenditures. We have Attain, for instance, right? And we spent $578,000 on last year. I don't know if it was that much, but that's what we were overspent on Attain. So we do have these expenses that are associated with Workday. We have we have these expenses that are associated with Protiviti, which we believe are non-recurring expenses. And so these we'll get this done. They did actually recommend.
Is the registry one?
The registry is another one, right? And the registry is another one.
And Dr. Day is still on that one also?
Dr. Day is not, we don't pay Dr. Day. Dr. Day works for Chess.
Okay.
And so we do pay, but not directly. Right, we do pay for Dr. Day, but not directly. So what they would like us to do is, similar to what we came up with when they talked about it yesterday, they said, okay, overall, what are some of the root causes of your budget situation? And they brought even up the pandemic, they brought up the floods. Why is Luna, they're not just looking at this year, they're looking at saying, what is that growth? If, as an institution, and costs are just going up, and how are we gonna manage it? Just like what you were saying, trustee V Hill, is do we have a plan of how we're gonna address this? And so they have given us certain things that we need to fix, and we've been working through these and trying to look at it. There were some errors in our budget that you approved, and so Dr. Shields and I have gone through with Charisse and Loretta to look at those more closely and see what were, where there were differences. For instance, what we found yesterday, that we had put athletics budget funding in 2 places, not one. And so it is a really, really huge document.
In our defense, none of us are experts in accounting. One of us should be, but we're not. And we have to trust. We trust the finance department to do the right thing. So even though we approved it, finger has to come back, because yes, we approved it, but we approved it based on trust.
So the HED
Correct.
is not actually, I will say, the HED main goal is to help Luna Community College. That is their main goal. And so they were not being accusatory that the board approved a budget that they said had errors in it. Actually, every year they work with every single school. They had a new tool this year that they rolled out, and it must be somehow is using probably AI to look at this. They have new tools that they're using that are allowing them to look and have a checklist to look at and find this. So previously to this year, they had a person that went through and just manually looked at all these things, and now they have a tool that they're using to do those comparisons. The other thing that I will say is that HED has also had a lot of transition in their finance department, and so people are new. We've worked with, in my time, we've worked with different people every year on the budget. And they're all learning, and I think that Tanya and Danielle, we had a productive meeting with that. They're not accusing the board of approving a budget that they thought was significantly flawed. What they're trying to do is just make sure they understand what our expenditures are, and if there's a big, they look and say, oh, this is a lot higher, why is this? And they want us to just provide a better explanation. And what we had said when you guys passed the budget is that if we did find some significant differences, they did not tell us it had to come back to the board for approval. What I said was, what we approved was that if we finding some significant differences, we would come back to you. And I do think that it's good for you guys to look at it and understand it, and if we have a corrective plan, then I think it's absolutely really critical for you guys to understand what that corrective plan is. And so they did not say that it had to go back to the board for approval. They said they will be looking at that, and we're not the only school that they're looking at this. And so we do know that our enrollments, are up this year, but we do need to look and say expenses have gone up on everything, and we need to have a plan. And so this is one of the things that MGT looked at. They asked us, when was the last time you raised tuition? Right, and there was a plan back in 2020, 2021 to pass a 5-year 6% increase. We think that has gotten us to a level that we're looking at that, but we also need to do, this is something we put in our budget priorities, if you remember from the March meeting, that we did say that we need to do a more comprehensive program evaluation of all of our programs. Are we charging the right amount? Are the programs that we're offering the right programs for the need? The state is going to be looking at this. Dr. Romero has talked about that's going to say programs that don't have any enrollment. Are we sunsetting those programs? We don't have a whole lot of full-time faculty, but we could not afford to do the instruction that we're doing if we had more. If we said, okay, we want all of our adjunct faculty to be paid more, which we would like to do, that would cost us a lot more money. We have raised compensation. We had to do that. We've looked at our we've had to do that to keep people and to hire people, because our compensation was way out of whack, where we were in terms of what we were paying. So we made some adjustments in terms of our peer institutions. This is something that MGT has asked us about, is are our salaries competitive with our peers, and looking at that. So we do have, I will say that our faculty salaries, there was money that was given to every institution to raise faculty salaries. That money wasn't given to raise staff salaries. And so that is something that we're concerned about. And so we have addressed that in order to keep people. We have really good employees that we want to keep.
And we agree, I think.
So that is the challenge. And we've looked and we've had to add, I think adding, the graduate assistants is a way to get some backfill. Other schools have hired additional contractors. Other schools have hired additional employees, permanent employees with that. And we are the smallest team that's going forward with that, but we are meeting those expectations, but it's a toll. It's not, we would be a lot better if we had a lot higher enrollment, but we are making our progress. And what we planned for the strategic enrollment management plan, and conservatively, we were up in the last 5 years on enrollment. We were up on campus enrollment 45% over the last 5 years. So we are going up on campus enrollment. I think our overall enrollment, I can't remember those numbers. I just was looking at those as part of our PowerPoint. But this is one of the reasons that they're looking at all independent community colleges. This is why they looked at Mesalabs. This is why they look and say, okay, in order to run a college, it takes a certain number of people, no matter how many students you have. No matter how many students you have, and so, and we have had significant growth in our professional credit. I think that's really gonna help us a great deal, and I think there's some other options, but they're not, it's not punitive at all. What they wanna do is help us. And I did express to them that the corrective action plan coming at the same time as the MGT, you know, and doing all this stuff, and also, you know, that we're working on the housing. It is a strain, but they're willing to help us and work with us.
3 critical areas, yes. And we do serve an essential need for the people of northern New Mexico.
And I think people realize that.
Than any other community college. So. Any questions?
What is it that they wanna do?
What do you mean?
Well,
Well, what does the state wanna do? I'm not 100%
They want a
sure.
better explanation.
They want a better explanation of the budget and what our plan is, right? They want a better explanation of some of the changes, and we have been working on that. And of that, you know, changes in the budget overall, and if we have sort of large expenses that are taking us out into fund balance, then we do, which we do, we have the workday project, there are gonna be ongoing expenses, but we know what those implementation projects. Do they want us to still be an independent community college? I'm not sure. You know, I do. We'll see what happens.
I think it would fail if it wasn't
Well,
particular with.
I feel confident. I feel confident on the work that we've done over the last several years to try to get us into a better place. We have caught up some on audits. We are making significant progress on audits, but just like we all know, being behind on audits is definitely a huge challenge. And it is something that that's their job to look at us and say, what are we gonna do? And they did recommend that Tanya yesterday, she said, you know, your corrective action plan may be to hire third-party contractors to help you with accounting. And I told them, and that's actually what they said last year during our EFOP visit as well, is that they said it's very, very difficult to get caught up when you're behind. It's just hard. And so that is what they recommended last year, and I said, we have done that. We have hired Protiviti. We do have people we've hired to help us in grants accounting. We have Loretta that's still helping us a great deal. We have Melissa Martinez who's helping us in fixed assets, but what they're doing is we're putting them on contract to help us train our staff so that we know how to go forward, so that we're making those corrections. So I feel confident about that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? So you're not leaving.
Yeah, no, if you do, you're going out of form.
It is. Thank you, trustee Vice Chair Portillo, because if you had left or you hadn't been present, we would have had to adjourn our meeting at
Thank you for joining.
12 o'clock. The last. Because
I know I didn't see when Andrea left, and I thought, yeah, it's a good thing I stayed on, so yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would have ended at 12 o'clock and we would not be able to do anything. So that's the record.
It all worked out.
We need to make sure that trustees realize that when they leave, it changes the number for the court.
Right.
It's not in their, if they can't schedule a meeting once a month and make sure that it works with the rest of their plan, that they have a meeting years in advance once a month, then they probably need to reconsider what they're doing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now, the announcement of date, time, and location, a special meeting will be held June 16, 2026 at 9 a.m. Hopefully we have a quorum. If not, we'll have to reschedule.
And I will be there in person, Dr. Martinez.
And regular Board of Trustees, Tuesday, July 14th at 10 o'clock a.m. So now I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn. And a second.
Give those dates again.
June 16th, 9 a.m.
We'll second that.
And July 14th, down at the bottom. Yes,
Both are at 10.
no, the 16th is at 9. Because Dr. Linder had a previous appointment at 10:45. Then she could not have foreseen a special meeting.
Getting a doctor's appointment.
Oh, it's 6 months, so,
15 is at 9.
no, 16,
So there's no meeting with the 15.
no. We always try to do it on Tuesdays because try to be consistent in people's minds. If there's board meetings, hopefully we'll get orders.
The July one is the 14th.
Yes, July is the 14th.
The 16th, Madam Chair,
At 9,
I won't be here. I
Okay.
have one, I have one, just to mention.
okay.
Sorry.
Just as long as, like I said, the 4 members will be fine.
If you need me, you call me, I can go.
Okay, I love it.
But I'll be in that.
For Vice Chair Portillo, Trustee Ortega, will you be here next Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
I will.
We should, or not. So, adjourn, Mrs. Trustee Hill made the motion, now I need a second.
Second.
Okay, and roll call.
Madam Chair, Dr. Phillips Martinez.
Yes.
Vice Chair Luis Campos.
Yes,
Secretary Mark Dominguez. Trustee Andrea Sapi. Trustee Richard Beadle.
Yes.
Trustee Rolando Medrano.
I think we'll all
Trustee Rosalie Ortega.
to join us on the 16th. Including Mark, yeah, I will, and Luis's, including Mark.
Okay, we're done.
Oh, no.
Yes. Thank you.
bye, everyone. Thank you.
Have your shirt and your check.